Star Trek has taken us where no one has gone before for over 5 decades. But while the starships sailed through fictional space, the actors who brought these legends to life have been on their own remarkable journey through time. Some have passed into legend: Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, James Doohan, Anton Yelchin, Nichelle Nichols. But many of the faces we grew up watching are still here, still working, still boldly going. This is where Star Trek's legends are in 2026. Let's start with the man who started it all. William Shatner, Captain James T. Kirk, the original commander of the Starship Enterprise. William Shatner was born March 22, 1931 and is 94 years old, and remarkably, he is not slowing down. In October 2021, at age 90, Shatner did something that seemed impossible for decades. He actually went to space. Aboard Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin rocket, Shatner became the oldest person ever to leave Earth's atmosphere. The man who pretended to explore the cosmos for 3 seasons of television finally got to see it for real, and his reaction was pure Shatner. Minutes after landing, visibly shaken, he described experiencing the overview effect. He said he saw Earth's thin atmosphere as a fragile blanket protecting us from the black ugliness of space. For a man who spent decades playing a space explorer, the reality hit differently, but space was not a retirement trip. Shatner has remained remarkably active well into his 90s. He released a documentary called You Can Call Me Bill in 2023. He announced a new book coming in late 2026 called William Shatner and You, featuring stories from fans whose lives he has impacted. He still makes convention appearances and stays connected with Star Trek fans worldwide. In September 2025, tabloids falsely reported that Shatner had been hospitalized. He took to Instagram to shut down the rumors with characteristic humor. He posted a photo with his signature mustache and a caption saying rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. He thanked everyone for caring, said he was perfectly fine, and told people not to trust tabloids or AI. How does he stay so active at 94? Shatner credits a plant-based diet, daily pool workouts, and especially horseback riding. He rides for 2 to 3 hours on his days off, and as recently as 2019 won the world champion title in the amateur roadster to bike championship at the Kentucky State Fair. He survived stage 4 melanoma, lives with tinnitus from a loud explosion during Star Trek filming, and openly discusses the challenges of aging, including memory issues and the physical demands of staying active. But his philosophy remains simple: stay busy, stay curious, and keep saying yes to life's opportunities. William Shatner, at 94, is still Captain Kirk, still exploring, still going where others fear to go. While Shatner commanded the Enterprise, George Takei steered it as helmsman Hikaru Sulu. George Takei, born April 20, 1937, is now 88 years old. But unlike many actors who fade from public view, Takei has reinvented himself for the digital age. You probably know him as Uncle George on social media. With over 20 million combined followers across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Takei has become one of the most influential celebrities online, often ranking #1 among actors in social media engagement. His posts mix sci-fi humor, political commentary, and heartfelt activism. That signature catchphrase, "Oh my," became iconic after his appearances on Howard Stern's radio show, where Takei became a beloved regular guest. But Takei's influence extends far beyond memes. He is a tireless activist for LGBTQ rights and social justice. In 2005, at age 68, he publicly came out as gay. The decision was prompted by then California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's veto of the state's marriage equality bill. He married his husband Brad Altman in 2008, becoming one of the first high-profile same-sex marriages in California. Takei has also dedicated his life to ensuring the world never forgets what happened to Japanese Americans during World War II. As a child, he and 120,000 other Japanese Americans were forced into internment camps. His 2019 graphic memoir, They Called Us Enemy, became a New York Times bestseller, teaching new generations about this dark chapter of American history. In 2024, he released another graphic memoir, My Lost Freedom, a Japanese-American World War II story which also hit bestseller lists. And in 2025 he published It Rhymes with Takei, a deeply personal graphic memoir about his life in the closet and his decision to come out at 68. The musical Allegiance, which Takei originated on Broadway in 2015, continues touring regional theaters, telling the story of Japanese-American internment through his family's eyes. At 88, George Takei has transformed from Mr. Sulu into something bigger. He is a voice for justice, a bridge between generations, and proof that relevance is not about age, it is about having something important to say. If William Shatner defined what a Starfleet captain could be, Patrick Stewart redefined it. Patrick Stewart was born July 13, 1940, and Sir Patrick Stewart is now 85 years old. Unlike some actors who leave iconic roles behind, Stewart has embraced Jean-Luc Picard across 5 decades. Stewart first sat in the captain's chair in 1987 at age 47 for Star Trek: The Next Generation. At the time, the Los Angeles Times called him an unknown British Shakespearean actor. His agent and close friend Ian McKellen both advised him not to throw away his theatrical career for television. Stewart signed the contract anyway, convinced the show would fail quickly and he would return to London stages with some extra money in his pocket. Instead, The Next Generation ran 7 seasons and became a phenomenon. Stewart played Picard in 4 feature films between 1994 and 2002. When Star Trek Nemesis seemed to close that chapter, most assumed Stewart was done with Picard forever. But in 2018, at age 78, CBS and Stewart jointly announced he would return for Star Trek: Picard. The series ran 3 seasons from 2020 to 2023, giving the character and Stewart a proper send-off. In interviews, Stewart has been remarkably honest about the challenges of returning to Picard in his late 70s and early 80s. Memorizing the complex Star Trek dialogue, filled with technobabble and alien terminology, became significantly harder. He structured his work week carefully, ensuring at least 2 of his 5 filming days delivered strong performances. But Stewart also found freedom in aging. He did not have to pretend to be younger. He could simply be an 80-year-old man playing an even older character, bringing authentic weight and gravitas to every scene. Beyond Star Trek, Stewart continued playing Professor Charles Xavier in the X-Men franchise, most recently appearing in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in 2022. He is currently filming another Marvel project scheduled for release in December 2026, which may be his final acting role. Recent reports suggest Stewart is planning to retire from acting after completing this film, though his representatives have not confirmed this. Stewart has been married 3 times. His current wife, singer Sunny Ozell, whom he married in 2013, is 39 years his junior. They met in 2008 when he was performing Macbeth at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. At 85, Stewart remains grateful for the role that changed everything. When asked in 2011 for his career highlight, he chose Star Trek: The Next Generation, saying all those years in the Royal Shakespeare Company playing kings, emperors, princes, and tragic heroes were nothing but preparation for sitting in the captain's chair of the Enterprise. The Next Generation was not just Patrick Stewart, it was a family, and remarkably most of that family is still here. Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander Will Riker, is now 73. He has become one of Star Trek's most prolific directors, helming episodes of Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds. He returned to play Riker in Star Trek Picard, proving the character aged as gracefully as the actor. Marina Sirtis, Counselor Deanna Troi, is 70. She remains a beloved fixture at Star Trek conventions worldwide. She also returned for Picard's final season, reuniting with the cast after decades. LeVar Burton, who played Chief Engineer Geordi LaForge at age 30, is now 68. Beyond Star Trek, he became a cultural icon as the host of Reading Rainbow for 23 years, promoting literacy to millions of children. He is now a popular podcaster and returned to play Geordi in Picard's emotional final season. Michael Dorn, who plays Worf, is 73 and holds the record for most Star Trek appearances by any actor, appearing in 284 episodes and 4 films across multiple series. He also returned for Picard, bringing Worf's warrior spirit to a new generation. Brent Spiner, the android Data, is now 77. He returned for Picard, giving Data the dignified ending the character deserved after his sacrifice in Star Trek Nemesis. Spiner has also remained active in theater and convention circuits. Gates McFadden, who plays Dr. Beverly Crusher, is 76 and has transitioned into directing and teaching. She also returned for Picard's final season, completing the family reunion fans had waited decades to see. The cast's return for Picard Season 3 in 2023 was emotional for everyone involved. They were not just colleagues, they were a family that had spent 7 years together creating television history. Their bond remained intact after 35 years. Star Trek did not stop with The Next Generation. In 2009, director J.J. Abrams rebooted the franchise with a new cast playing the original crew. Chris Pine, who took on the impossible task of playing James T. Kirk after William Shatner, is now 45. He successfully made the role his own across 3 films between 2009 and 2016. Plans for a 4th Kelvin timeline film have stalled, but Pine remains one of Hollywood's leading men. Zachary Quinto, who played the young Spock, is 48 and has built a successful career in film and television beyond Star Trek. The tragedy of the Kelvin timeline was the loss of Anton Yelchin, who played Chekhov in a freak accident in 2016, at just 27 years old. His death devastated the cast and the Star Trek community. The remaining Kelvin cast continues to honor his memory. Of course, not everyone made it to 2026. Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock passed away in 2015 at age 83. His friendship and occasional rivalry with William Shatner defined both men's lives. Shatner wrote a memoir about their 50-year relationship, and his absence from Nimoy's funeral remains one of his greatest regrets. DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy died in 1999 at age 79. James Doohan as Scotty passed in 2005 at age 85. Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, who broke barriers as one of television's first black women in a non-stereotypical role, died in 2022 at age 89. Her impact extended beyond acting. She worked with NASA to recruit minority and female astronauts, directly inspiring Mae Jemison, the first black woman in space. Anton Yelchin died in 2016 at age 27, a devastating loss of potential. These losses remind us that while Star Trek's vision of the future is infinite, the people who brought it to life are not. In 1966, Star Trek asked us to imagine a future where humanity had overcome its divisions and explored the stars together. 60 years later, the actors who embodied that vision are still here, still working, still inspiring. William Shatner at 94, still going to space. George Takei at 88, fighting for justice. Patrick Stewart at 85, completing one final mission. They are not just actors. They are living reminders that age is no barrier to relevance, activism, or adventure. As Spock would say, live long and prosper. And remarkably, many of them have.